Hi, hello, welcome back. My name's Devaraj. Welcome back, yes, to this series on bioenergetics. Today I'm going to introduce you to a sequence of postures called the 10 position release. And those of you who regularly follow my YouTube channel know that I've already shown, we've been looking at the 4 position release, then we looked at the 5 position release. We've done a few other bits. Today we're going to get to the 10 position release. And what I like about this sequence of exercises is that it really works the whole body. It really works the whole body. I've been doing it as a morning workout for the last month or so, and I found it very powerful, integrating, releasing practice to do in the early morning. I've been doing it with like a 1.5 minute ding, going through these 10 postures. You can also start it with like a 1 minute ding or something like that if 1.5 is a bit much. But many of the postures you will have seen before, essentially it's the 5 position release with 1 extra posture added in. And then we get into the lower body release. So some of it is done standing, some of it crouching, and some of it lying on your back. So I think the easiest thing is just to go through the 10 postures, or maybe just to mention also, what I like about integrating some lower body stuff in there, some lying on the floor kind of work, opening up the pelvic floor, is this is very necessary for a lot of guys. Sometimes you could be doing a lot of upper body work, but if the pelvic floor isn't open, it's like you create a bit more stress for yourself in some level. And as you start to open the base, women tend to have this area around here more open because they have kids, so I imagine that's the reason. And for men, often it's a bit tight around the ass. And this creates more sensation of neediness and a difficulty to really ground yourself in the earth. So having explained that, let's have a look at these 10 postures. Like I say, you'll have seen most of them before. You're also going to need our trusty rolled up yoga mat. Quite a firm one is good. If you're very flexible in the lower back, you might want to take 2 or use a different type of bolster to give yourself a little more of a challenge. But have that on one side. So the first posture, I'm just going to go through the 10 postures basically. We're not going to do a workout, but just to demonstrate all of it and the little aspects of the posture. The first posture, as in the 5 position release, we start with the bow posture. Stand a little bit further back so you can really see me. Standing with the feet fairly close together, like no more than shoulder width apart. And you stretch into the bow, which means arms right up, back behind your ears, push your pelvis forwards, stick your chest out, but keep your head vertical. Keep your neck vertical. That's the version that I primarily teach. And in this posture, breathe nice and deep. Throughout this series of 10 postures, you'll get a lot more from it for every moment that you can spend really feeling your body, maintaining the stretch and breathing. If you go on autopilot, you'll only get a bit from it. You'll get stuff from it, but try to bring yourself back constantly, checking out the stretch. Have I really got it? Check the elements of the posture. You've got to learn to be your own sergeant major a bit, not in a harsh way, but in a supportive way. That's the first posture. Then we go down to the floor, into this cobra. You can also do it rather like a kind of a lion posture. Your palms and your toes are on the floor. The rest of your legs should be upright. If it's really too much for you, then drop your knees for a little bit, bring them back up. You can also add to this posture, there's a kind of lion's roar you can do, which is stick your tongue out and lean forwards. Ah! Ah! You can do a couple of those if you want to bring a bit more kind of fire into this posture. Otherwise, you should push your heels back. And look, if you press your heels back, sometimes you'll get some vibration. This kind of spontaneous body shaking is always good. It facilitates a release. This is the second posture. The third posture, as in the 5 position release, you push up into the dog pose. Generally these days I keep my hands and feet where they are from the cobra and just push up into the dog. So your legs are now straight with your heels off the floor. Your arms are straight, but your neck is relaxed. You push your heels back towards the floor, breathe through the mouth and feel. Eyes open. The fourth posture now, this is where we make a change. We're going to go into some animal crawl. And animal crawl, let's show you this way around. You can either do it like a bear crawl. What's characteristic of animal crawl is you basically move one hand and simultaneously one leg, one arm, one leg, but the opposite. So if I'm going to move my right arm forwards, I move my left arm with it, and then like this. Arm and leg should move simultaneously. Go forwards and then backwards. Working like this. And if this is quite easy, this is like bear crawl basically. You're quite high with your back. You can drop your ass, drop your back, stretch your body more out, so you start more like down here. And getting more into like lizard crawl. Focus on your core muscles as you do it. And often it's advised not to allow your hips. Some people do it swinging their hips from side to side. My instinct is that it's good to keep it on a fairly straight line. Engage your core muscles, your belly, and breathe through the mouth. So whenever you set your ding up, you continue backwards and forwards with this. It adds to this, you really start to engage your belly. Okay, the fifth pose, and you've got a choice here, like in the 5 position release, you can either come up into toe crouch on your toes. Ideally with your back straight and your ass dropped, but do whatever you can. You can do that for one ding, or you can do the chair pose. If you've got a bit of wall handy. And in this pose, you try and have your upper legs horizontal, parallel with the floor, and you just sit. Should be a right angle here at the knee. Your back gently pressing against the wall to maintain stability, your arms relaxed. So that's the second option for the 5th pose. You can do one or the other. And then the 6th pose, we're just going to lean forwards in the arch position. So here your feet are quite close together, like maybe a couple of foot widths apart. Your tailbone is pulling up, but there's a little bit of flex in the knees. Your neck and shoulders are loose, you can jiggle your head and your arms. And your weight is very slightly forwards. That's the 6th posture. The 7th posture, now we're going to get down onto the floor and do some lower body release. So we get our yoga mat, which is rolled up. And the first position with it is we're going to lie over it with our tailbone on the floor. Ideally, it doesn't matter if your tailbone doesn't reach. It's okay to stretch. And now you can close your eyes. The first 6 should have the eyes open. And just try to relax in this pose for one ding. That's the 7th pose. Then for the 8th pose, you lift your 8th, 9th and 10th. You're going to lift your tailbone up and drop your tailbone. Move the mat under your tailbone. 8th pose. You bring your knees and your toes together, your knees and your ankles together rather, and gently pull your knees to your chest. Using your hands or your arms clasped around below your knees. Make this gentle, don't over tug, particularly if you know you've got belly tension. It's good to do this posture, but don't overdo it at first. Pulling down gently. 9th posture, you let your arms hang back, bring your feet up, pressing your heels towards the floor. This is a two-way stretch. You want to try and stretch. It's important not just to do what you can and not stretch anymore. You want to really create a stretch here. So you're trying to straighten your legs at the knees. You want them completely straight, and you're trying to keep your legs 90 degrees to your body. So really stretching like this. You may get a bit of spontaneous shaking coming. That's a good bit of release. That's the 9th posture. And the 10th posture, just like in the lower body release that we were doing recently, is take your feet wide. Women can generally stretch quite a lot more in this plane than men. But, do what you can. Breathe and feel your body. Keep these 3 stretches going for one ding. So your legs are straight, as straight as you can get them. Your legs are 90 degrees to your body and they're stretching wide. You don't need to use your hands to push, but do stretch. That's the 10th. Okay, so that is the 10 position release, and what you would now do is go around again, and then again. It's good to go around 3 times. You could start with a ding on 1 minute and do each posture for 1 minute. That will take 30 minutes in total, and then maybe work up to 75 seconds, 1¼ minutes, 1 minute 15 seconds, and then 1½ minutes. It's important that you go around 3 times. In fact, people often ask me with the 5-position release or the 4-position release, okay, I'm pretty cool with 1½ minutes, 2 minutes. Shall I increase the length of the ding? But generally what I find is more powerful is to increase the number of repetitions. It's good to have this sense of flow between the postures. So I don't see it as so useful to do it on, say, 4 or 5 minutes. One of these exercises, 5 minutes of ding, and just go around once. What you want to do is increase the reps. So with this 10-position release, I'd recommend if you can do 1½ minutes, do that 3 times around. That'll be 45 minutes. And if you really want it, if you've got time and you want to increase that, do another rep. Do 4 reps the whole way round. Each time you go round, the body releases more. That's why this 3 repetition rule is very common in bioenergetics. Each time you go around, the body releases more. You can increase the time, but usually with these kind of exercises, increasing the reps gives more release, and that's what we're looking for. Okay guys, thank you for tuning in. That was 10-position release. Great to do it in the early morning. I hope you have fun, or at least you get a good experience doing it. Write in and let me know, and I'll speak to you all again soon with the next episode in this series of Bioenergetics. Bye for now.